Hey folks, welcome to Paw John's Homestead channel. Today I'm going to share with you 5 different types of trellises I use in my garden, and I'm going to show you how to build them. So well, come on, let's go. The first type of trellis I use is really simple. It only consists of a few posts and some string. Pretty economical. These are reusable year to year, and this stuff here is really cheap. The reason I'm using this on this row is because I have determinate tomatoes. All determinate means is they're going to grow to a certain size, fruit all at the same time, and their life cycle is over. I don't really need a whole lot for these, just a couple of posts and a little bit of string just to help support them. And want to make sure that you put a post every 2 to 3 plants. That's close enough that this string will help support them and hold them up while they fruit. And if you don't have one yet on your homestead, this is a post driver. Just makes putting these on the ground a little bit easier. These Roma tomatoes will only get 3 to 4 foot high, so they don't need to be very tall. So a short post will work. Some people call that a Florida weave. Not sure where it originated from. Been using that one for years. Now that first one's up, we got another easy one here, which brings me to the next method. You're gonna need these, one for each end of the row, or the length of the bar that you're gonna use in your garden. Now, what this is gonna serve as is a tie point for my stakes and to help support my tomatoes. You'll also need twine. What I've got here is a piece of bamboo. And what's on the ground behind me is a piece of conduit. The conduit works good. There's only one problem with it. It sits out here in this sunshine all day long, and it gets super hot. And if you were to grab it, it'd probably burn your hand midday here in the south. So plants will grow up and they'll hit that bar and touch it, and it'll burn them. You can paint it white, you can put something over top of it, or whatever. It does serve as a steady point to tie to. My go-to is a piece of bamboo. If you can source this where you live at, I would recommend to go with something like this, because this is not going to superheat in the sunshine, and your plants can touch this and they won't suffer. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Real simple. You want to put your T's on top of the post. Once your T's are on top of the post, you take your bar and you'll insert that into the end of your T. And this you can secure with tape, or you can tie you a piece of string around it. Just need to make sure you secure this in the T. And that will be it for your bar. Didn't take much. That's the first part of that trellis. Got your top bar on. Now I like to stake all the tomatoes because these are indeterminate tomatoes, what that means is they're gonna grow, bloom, fruit, and they're just gonna keep growing, and they're gonna keep making tomatoes. Over the season, they're subject to grow above that bar and actually start growing down, and I have grown them to the top bar all the way back down to the ground on the other side, making tomatoes during the season. Well, what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna prune and stake each one of these tomatoes. You can spend a whole lot of money, go buy materials at the store, or you can just source it locally, find you some bamboo. Bamboo works really well. I got to go get some this afternoon to finish this. This was actually from a crepe myrtle that I pruned. I've used this for 2 years. Well, this is the second season, so I'm gonna use it again. All it serves is 30 frames for that tomato to grow up. I'll tie that to this stake all the way up. So here we go. So you want to take your stakes, whatever you're using, go alongside each tomato and push the stake in the ground. Once you push the stake in the ground, just use your twine, whatever you have, and secure the top to your top bar. And that bar is rigid enough that it's going to support those tomatoes if you get a strong wind. On to number 3. This trellis is for my beans. I'm going to use a piece of damaged cattle panel that I had here on hand, resourced here at the homestead, and didn't have to buy. If you buy it, it's going to be $40 a panel for, I think, 16 foot. I have enough to do this and the next trellis I'm going to build. But it's real simple. Just put you a couple of posts in the ground to support it, stand it up, tie it to it, and that's it. I'm going to use twine to secure it to the post with. This twine here is heavy duty. It's not going to break very easily, so I won't have to worry about this falling over. Okay. I know some of you might have a question of how I'm tying this. I'm going to show you real quick, simple way. Everybody's got their own method, but it's real simple. Here's your post, here's your wire. The way I'm doing these, I'm just going to hit a couple points on each post just to hold this wire up. Come in here and cross the back like this. One through this hole, one through that hole, pull it around. Leave yourself enough room right here. Go over this wire one time, pull it back, take your lead, go over the wire, pull it back. What that's going to do is it's going to hold that wire and the post. And my knot here that I'm tying, this ain't nothing special. I'm doing a double, but what I'm doing is I'm pulling this, not the lead, but I'm pulling this string, and see how I'm creating that loop. And I'm gonna make one more loop and pull my string again, pull that leader down. And what that's gonna do, you can pull that tight. You can take and slip that back with your finger like that. It makes a tight knot. Now you can take this, loop it over, tie it once or tie it twice. Usually once will hold it, but that's how I'm tying it. Nothing special. Hope that helps you. The other methods will have to wait till this afternoon. It's probably 90 degrees out here. Y'all be careful if you're out in this heat. Make sure you hydrate. I'm going to cool off. And that makes 3 trellises. Showed you how to build them, and I think you're gonna like the next one. All right, this next trellis, really simple. I'm gonna make an arch with it. I'm using 2 cattle panels, 6 T-posts, a little bit of twine. That should be all it takes. If you're a perfectionist, you can get a tape measure and use it. You can just step it off. Either way, it doesn't matter. Size, it doesn't really matter on this. It's all of what you want. I'm thinking that I'm gonna make this one 7 foot wide and 8 foot long. And cattle panels, they're 50-inch cattle panels. The 6 posts is gonna secure the cattle panels at each point that the cattle panel touches the ground. So, and that's it. Not a whole lot to this one. What I just did with a tape measure is I measured from corner to corner to make sure they were real close into the same measurement, and that'll give you a square. Now I'm just going to put the center post in. Poster in the ground now. Everything is squared up, and I'm going to get the panels, the cattle panels, go ahead and stand them up in here and secure them to the post. Now this part is a 2-man job. It'd go a lot smoother with 2 people, but I'm doing it by myself today just to show you that it can be done. It didn't go as smooth as I had hoped, but it went. Now they're bulky. You have to be careful around them, putting them up like that by yourself. Especially need some gloves, and always keep in mind of a way out if something goes south on this thing. What I did on this arch is I put 2 panels together and I overlapped them in the middle. And I'll tie those real good, and then they'll give it a little bit added support with high winds. I'm using some recycled twine I had used in the garden a couple of years ago. All right, so you want to overlap your panels in the middle. I only do this to help strengthen it up some in the middle. No special knot here, just tying it. I will be tying the rest of them like I showed you on the other trellis. So that's the arch, pretty sturdy. Guess I could pull it down some, but I like it the way it is. That there makes number 4. Now there's your arch. Cost, you figure in 6 T-posts and 2 cattle panels. The cattle panel is gonna run $35, $40 now. They've gone up. T-post, I don't know what the costs are. You know, cost is on those. All this is recycled material here on the homestead. It's stuff I've used years and years. Fortunately, I didn't have to go buy anything to show you this trellis. That and a little bit of string. You want some high tensile stuff, something like baling twine. It's baling twine, it'll hold up to the elements at least 1 season, sometimes 2, sometimes longer than that. On to the next one. The one you've been waiting on, number 5. Here we are, number 5. Simple, basic, it doesn't take much at all. Any of you go shopping and you wind up having to have some type of line or twine tied down to tie down the load. Save it, put it in a can. You may use it in your garden. This is a prime example. I'm going to use this to make the next trellis. And all you're going to need is string and sticks. That's it. Nothing to it. Give you the basics here. Like to use these for bean poles. Of course, I'll make a few a little bit bigger than this in the garden to grow some heirloom beans. These right here are from a crepe myrtle that I pruned about 2 years ago. Basically what you're gonna want, there's all sorts of different ways to make these teepees, what they are, teepees, for your beans. Find your sticks. These happen to have wires in them, which work really good. I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna force them up through together. That's gonna help hold the shape while I tie it. Using this as an example, I'll be making more for the garden, but today, for this demonstration, it's my bean poles, 3 poles. Got them together. They don't have to have wires in them. They can be just the way they are. You want to take your string and fashion this around. Use any type of knot you'd like. Now, it's just something to hold it together at the top. I twisted them together, bound it, and tied it in a simple double hitch knot. Take your stakes, push your stakes in the ground in your garden. You may even want to get another stick or a stake and drive it in the ground and tie it at the bottom to keep this from blowing over. I wanted to show this to you because it's one of the most cost-effective ways to make a trellis in your garden. Once you get this set up in your garden and it's pushed in the soil and secured at the bottom, you can take this twine, usually like start at the top. The knottier your poles are, the better this will hold. But it doesn't have to be pretty to function. And if you can make something function in your garden, it's not going to cost you anything or very little, then you're already ahead of the game. You get down to the point you don't want it to slide back up, go over top of it. Go over top of it, just tie your knot. You run out of string, jute twine is a very good option. A couple of dollars a roll goes a long way, and this is biodegradable, this is not. No right or wrong, it's your trellis. All this line is here for is to give the beans a little something to hold to and climb up. On the larger ones, if you want to make it really sturdy, get you some more sticks. You can actually go across the bottoms and just tie them, secure them to each corner, and it'll sturdy this frame up. It'll actually make a little teepee, a little pyramid in your garden. This is all I need for the beans that I'll be growing on this trellis. gonna make one more. This is another trellis for nothing but jute twine and my poles. I'm gonna use a set of limb loppers to tailor them and just show you how I'm doing this one. This is gonna be a 4-legged teepee. That's just another way you can do it. Built it a little different than the last one. Use your imagination. These trellises, nobody says that it has to be made just that particular way. Just to give you an idea and show you a different type of trellis that you can put in your garden. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Appreciate y'all watching, folks.